And before anybody talks about, yeah, Harden reminded us, y'all owe him an apology, Pat Bev's gonna start sending shots at Dwayne Wade. Before we get to that point, let's pump the brakes and remind ourselves, a quarter of his playoff games, he has more turnovers than field goals made. That is not something you would expect of a player that can go out and get a 60-point triple-double at his very best and be efficient in doing that. That's not something we expect from a Hall of Fame caliber player, an all-time great scorer. That's not something you're going to see every day from a guy that once led the league in assists, led the league in scoring multiple times, and has an MVP.
Cleveland, this is for you.
Cavs take game 3, 116-109, and after the first quarter, I had a feeling this was going to be a back-and-forth game the whole way. I didn't get the sense that somebody was going to pull away, which they did, but it was going to be a back-and-forth tussle all game long. After the first quarter, Cavs were up 32-30. Cade had 6 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. He was on triple-double watch right out the gate. Harris had 8 points. Mitchell had 9. Allen had 9. The Cavs had 10 assists and 6 turnovers after the first quarter. And you know what? What happened next, I knew it was going to happen. It is so extremely predictable. Harrison, Duncan, they go sit down, and all of a sudden Detroit's offense has no movement, has no flow. Cade is getting pressured off pick and rolls and DHOs. He's often on the floor with non-shooters, and it never works out for them. In that situation, they started the quarter 1 for 9. Cleveland used that slump to launch them up 64-48 at the end of the half. And Donovan Mitchell was having his way all game. He was getting downhill. He was in attack mode all game long. He was picking matchups. He was going at Harris. He was going at Duncan. He was doing it early. He was avoiding traps. He was avoiding double teams. He was being smart about it. He was under control. He was using his Euro step, the side step, the step back. He was in his bag all game long. Even though he didn't get as many calls as he wanted to, he was still going to work. He had 35 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. He had a dominant game tonight. But Pistons used a 26-10 run to get back into the game, and things were back and forth from that point on. Cleveland, they went on a 7-0 run after the tie. Then the Pistons responded with a 5-0 run of their own, and it was 83-81 Cleveland going into the fourth quarter. The game was in reach. Detroit could have reached out and snatched this game. Go up 3-0, put the pressure on Cleveland, but Cade Cunningham, in whatever took place between his ears, decided, nah, I'm going to give this one away. Cade had 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists, but it seemed like he was stat padding in all the wrong ways because the triple-double wasn't enough for him. He had 8 turnovers, and at least 5 of them had no business taking place. He was throwing it off the stanchion when he's taking a ball out. 3 straight late turnovers, throwing it to Strus, chasing momentum in the transition when he didn't have to instead of being patient. This cost them the game, if we're being honest. If you eliminate the turnovers but keep his clutch buckets down the stretch, the Cavs are staring up at a 3-0 deficit. The dunk, the pull-up 3 to make it a 1-point game, super clutch, right? But Donovan Mitchell having the game that he had, and the idea in the back of your mind that James Harden can wake up at any given moment, that was looming. That was a very large problem. So the fact that he had 3 straight turnovers, that was a bad omen, right? So speaking of Harden, woke up right on time, had 9 points in the fourth, and anytime he had them on an island with no help, my stomach turned. And before anybody talks about, yeah, Harden reminded us, y'all owe him an apology, Pat Bev's gonna start sending shots at Dwayne Wade. Before we get to that point, let's pump the brakes and remind ourselves, a quarter of his playoff games, he has more turnovers than field goals made. That is not something you would expect of a player that can go out and get a 60-point triple-double at his very best and be efficient in doing that. That's not something we expect from a Hall of Fame caliber player, an all-time great scorer. That's not something you're going to see every day from a guy that once led the league in assists, led the league in scoring multiple times, and has an MVP. That's not a stat that we're used to seeing from a guy of his caliber. So let's pump the brakes on that, because the only thing he did was meet expectations that have been set for James Harden by James Harden. So let's make sure we get that out of the way. James Harden played great down the stretch and did his job. He met expectations. He had 19 points for the game, 9 in the fourth quarter, had 7 assists, only 3 turnovers. Congrats to you. Game 3 goes to the Cavs. Give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments, do we owe James Harden an apology? That's one more for the good guys.
of letting people think they got a chance. This is